We are the greatest city and the greatest state and the greatest nation in the history of the world. Let's give it up for Plant City. Of course, we're so excited to have here with us Congressman Donald, and we know that he's going to go on to the governor's office in Tallahassee on his way, and we want to make sure that everybody here is supporting him. We want to have our folks come up from Tomlin. We're going to do a pledge in just a second. Before we get into that, though, I do want to give a prayer, because that's part of our core values and our culture in Plant City. Is we are a community of faith, and that's where it all starts with. So if I could pray for us, let's all be together in prayer. Heavenly Father, I'm just so grateful to have all these people here today that care so much about our city, about our state, about our country, that want to pour out their time, talents, and treasures. Most importantly, Father, for your honor and your glory, and let's never forget that. Let's make sure we always support our first responders, our military, our veterans. Let's put a circle of hedge and protection around Congressman Donalds as he continues on this path forward. Lift him up, give him the resources and the strength that he needs to persevere. And we pray that same thing over all the municipalities, all the elected officials, and just want to make sure that everybody is recognized, valued, and appreciated for their hard work and their dedication. Please bless this time together, and it's in your precious and holy name that we pray. Amen. Now, we have two young people here from Tomlin that are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Before they do that, though, I'd like to have them introduce themselves, and let's make sure that we recognize them for being here and part of our civic activity in Plant City. Say your first and last name.
My name is Sawyer Johnson from Tomlin Middle School.
Hi, I'm Reagan Marchese from Tomlin Middle School.
Okay, let's go ahead and lead it.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to turn it over now to our state representative, Lawrence McClure. I'm going to make it real quick, though, because I can't just let him come up here and not give him accolades for all of his service that he's done for our community and for the state. Term limited out now, unfortunately, but thank you, sir, for standing tall for Plant City. So many people here in this room, I'm not going to go through all of them, you know who you are. We have great partners in this state, and the only reason that Plant City is so awesome is because of our local delegation and people like our Commissioner of Agriculture. Thank you so much for your dedication and your hard work, sir.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining me on this nice, cool Plant City summer August day. My name is Lawrence McClure. I've been your state representative for 9 years, and it's been the honor of a lifetime. I'm here today to give a little perspective on why I'm supporting my good friend Byron Donalds. I had the pleasure of serving with him for the first 3 years of my time in the Florida House, and we collaborated. It's one thing to serve with people. It's another thing to work in a detailed way on legislation. And two bills stand out in particular. I ran the Guns and Churches bill that gave concealed permit holders the ability to carry during our church services to give another layer of security. Yeah, thank you. But I was a redshirt freshman when I ran that bill, kind of like being an 8th grader in a high school. And Byron Donalds stood by me the whole way. Taught me the ropes, and then we collaborated on another bill protecting senior citizens from financial fraud when he was insurance and banking chairman. And so the point is I've worked side by side with Byron on legislation. I've also worked with two other candidates that are on the Republican primary ballot tomorrow. One state senator that is in the Hillsborough delegation, and another one who was the Speaker of the Florida House and asked me to serve on his leadership team. I've worked with all three of these men, and I want to tell you why I'm standing here today supporting my friend Byron Donalds. The first thing that I look for in any candidate, I kind of go back to my first election. I was just a business owner that was tired of government getting in the way. That's why I ran to be your state representative. Byron Donalds is the only candidate in this race that has private sector experience, and not just any private sector experience in the financial sector, balancing budgets in the real world. That is important. That is meaningful. Secondly, I look at voting records and how people kind of evolve during their time as an elected official. And whether you look at his time in the State House or in the United States Congress, Byron Donalds is the same man today that I met 10 years ago. It's why he's endorsed by the gun owners of America. They know what all of us that have served with him know. He's going to unapologetically defend your Second Amendment. Susan B. Anthony list, leaders on the pro-life movement. They're 100% with Byron because he will not back down from these pro-choice, crazy left-wing people. He's going to stand there and protect the unborn. Over 40 sheriffs in this state have endorsed Byron Donalds. That's because he is the law and order candidate. When the narrative got a little shaky, when it wasn't so popular to stand by law enforcement, people were saying defund the police, not Byron Donalds. He stood with them side by side. That's why they're backing him. He knows that he will always back the blue. Then, of course, our president, Donald Trump. He's endorsed 100% Byron Donalds, and it's because he recognizes leadership when he sees it. He knows what all of us know that have served with Byron. He's not going to back away from the fight. He's not going to cower to the Democratic narrative. He's just going to look him in the eye and say, bring it on. And so when I look at this election and I think about the consequences of November, I kind of reflect back on when I first ran 9 years ago. My wife and I, we didn't quite have kids yet. We were newly married. I was a businessman that was tired of government. And I'm still fed up with government getting in the way of the private sector, don't get me wrong. But I look at this through the lens of my two daughters. My soon-to-be 7-year-old who made me promise that I would say her name, Savannah, and my 3-year-old who could care less if I say her name, Madeline. And I think about what sort of state do I want them to grow up in? How do I want this to look as they're developing into young adults? And so when I frame it that way, there's only one option. I've served with all of these men. I've worked with each and every one of them. It's Byron Donalds, 100%. So my ask of you is, for those of you that have voted, thank you. Thank you for supporting Byron. Call everyone you know, tell them to get out and vote for Byron tomorrow. And for those of you that haven't voted, please, please, please get out there and vote tomorrow. Take everyone you know. Byron Donalds is the right man to do the job. And with that, I'd like to introduce my good friend, my state senator, our state senator here in Plant City, Mr. Danny Burgess.
Good afternoon, Plant City. How we doing? It's a cold one out there today. Speaking of cold ones, we're at propagation, middle of the day on a Monday. I didn't know if it would be bad form if I already had a beer, but I don't know if anybody else has already gone into that. Thank you. Maybe hold one for me until we're done. I love being in Plant City, especially when we're drinking Zephyr Hills bottled water. Two things can be true at the same time because I get the honor of representing Plant City in the Florida Senate for the last 6 years. But I also hail from Zephyr Hills, Florida, so we got the winter strawberry capital of America, and we got the greatest water in America. So thank you. Here, buddy. There are two things that I thought I knew for sure going into today's event. One, I think I still do, and that's that the strawberry shortcake always trumps the key lime pie. Does it? A bill that Lawrence forgot to mention was that we had the honor of carrying, with the great commissioner's support, the strawberry shortcake bill that made it the official state dessert. So congratulations, Plant City. You're on the map big time. But the other thing I thought I knew for sure that I don't anymore is that Lawrence McClure would never wear a suit to a Plant City event on a Monday afternoon in the heat. Egg in my face. So, no, but in all seriousness, I want to first thank Lawrence. He's been an incredible partner in the State House. It's been a real pleasure to watch him navigate this process. And although his tenure in the legislature is coming to an end, I really, really hope that this is just the end of the beginning and that there is a new beginning in his future because he's got too much to offer. So, sir, I'm putting you out there, and Courtney, I'm putting you on the spot. I really hope that we're not seeing the last of Lawrence McClure on the ballot. It's been an honor, sir. I love being here. I love being your senator. It's an important day because tomorrow we get to select not just our nominee, but who I believe is going to be, who I know is going to be the next governor of the state of Florida, and that is Byron Donalds. I think it says a lot, yes. I think it says a whole heck of a lot about Byron Donalds that he could be anywhere in the state of Florida right now. He could be in a big city like Miami or Orlando, Jacksonville, heck, even Tampa. But no, he's here in beautiful Plant City, Florida, because he knows that rural Florida, that small town Florida, matters just as much. So thank you, Congressman Donalds and Erica, for making time to be here on the eve of your election as our nominee right here in beautiful Plant City. I don't know about you, but I really cannot wait for this primary season to be over so that we can start to get to the real race ahead of us, because there is so much at stake. I swear to you, there's an alternate race that's happening online, but I need us all to dial in and focus on what matters, and that's the election before us and making sure that we get through tomorrow, we all get out and vote for Byron Donalds, and that we can focus on what matters, and that's defeating the radical left agenda when it comes to November. There are a lot of loud voices on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it these days, all these bots and digital AI videos that want you to believe something that's not true. The only thing that's true is that Byron Donalds is going to win, and Byron Donalds is going to win big in November, and we're going to take this all the way and ensure that the victories that we've put place in Florida stay in place for our children and future generations. Because parents know what's best for their kids, because affordability matters, and because of this, and this is in the news everywhere right now, it's because of the idea that boys should not be playing in girls' sports. And Byron Donalds does not want his sons playing against my daughters or Lawrence's daughters. That is not how this works. This is time-tested. This is something we've known for thousands of years. It shows you how absurd the opposition has gone, and so we have to fight, because if we don't, that's where we're headed. So that's why everything matters and hinges on tomorrow and in November, folks. We have a fantastic ticket from top to bottom. We have our Commissioner of Agriculture here, Wilton Simpson, who's also on the ballot. We have Ryan Gill, who's looking to succeed. I just got the nod. I know I'm going a little long. Ryan Gill. We have, we have Kevin Steele running for Congress in this district. We got Danny Alvarez. I have to stop right there, and I got to tell you about our commissioner before I get roped off the stage, folks. He is a stranger to no one. I'm so grateful he's our ag commissioner. He's like family. And, sir, if you would have us the honor of coming up here, imparting some wisdom and introducing the key speaker. Thank you all, and God bless.
Good afternoon, and I am going to be brief because I know how hot it is out here. I'm going to just mention a few things. I'm going to do some comparisons here. We can live in the free state of Florida. The next state our size is New York. I'm going to give you a few facts. Today, the state of Florida has $8 billion of debt. The state of New York has over $180 billion of debt. Which state would you rather be in? Conservative leadership, liberal leadership? We've cut $15 billion of taxes in the last 15 years. They've cut zero. We have $22 billion of reserves. You are the lowest tax state in the union, and you are the lowest debt state in the entire union. In Florida, I love to quote the great Ricky Bobby, that great philosopher. You're either first or you're... Well, in the state of Florida, we've got universal school choice. We're number one in university and colleges. We have the most affordable universities in the entire country, and we have the best outcomes. Number one in business formation, number one in law enforcement. Who loves our law enforcement? And by the way, the chamber ranked Zoran Mondani number one for business formation in the state of Florida just last week. Anyways, we've done many, many things, and I'm going to introduce a great friend here. But in the state of Florida, we are going to take care of ourselves, right? We're going to take care of our wildlife corridor. We're going to take care of agriculture. Byron Donalds is going to do an amazing job. I served in the Florida Senate. I was your Senate president for 2 years during COVID. We did many things, and Byron did a great job in the Florida House at that time. And I think Lawrence said it earlier today. He's the only person running for governor that's got private experience. And with that, and how he cares about our families and our kids, we need Byron Donalds in the governor's mansion come November. Thank you all for being here today, and give a big Plant City welcome to Byron Donalds.
Commissioner Simpson, thank you so much. Thank you, my friend, for your support. Plant City, how are you doing? I'm going to tell you a quick story, and she'll be in a moment. You'll see her in a moment. The first time I ever came to Plant City, my wife's grandparents took us. They said, you got to come up to Hillsborough County. And I was just like, what are we doing? And my wife said, you don't know. And I said, at the time, it's like, honey, I've only lived in Florida about 6 years. What are we talking about? So they go, you got to come to the Strawberry Festival. And that was the first time I've ever come to Plant City. And that strawberry shortcake, oh, it's good. It was excellent. But listen, now I'm back. And I'm back for one reason. Because tomorrow, Republicans go to the polls and they elect the next nominee for governor. And let's be very clear about what's at stake in this election tomorrow and what's at stake over the next 79 days in our state. Tomorrow, we choose once again who's going to lead our party into the future. Now, let me give you a little backstory. When I got into politics, this was back in 2009. It was the Tea Party movement in Southwest Florida. I was somebody that was frustrated with what was going on in the American economy at the time. Like a lot of young kids, I was trying to figure out how we were going to make ends meet, how I was going to build that Florida dream for myself. My wife and I, when we first got married, we had a 1,200 square foot apartment with those old jalousie windows, jalousies? That's how you pronounce it, the jalousie windows. Everybody knows them because you had to crank them to open up the windows. And that's what we had. We had to negotiate the security deposit into our monthly rent because we didn't have the security deposit. That's all we could afford. When we were working early on, I transferred down to Naples, Florida from Tallahassee. I was a waiter at Cracker Barrel. When I got to Naples, Florida, I was still a waiter at Cracker Barrel. And on the weekends, I was moving furniture in the hotels just to make ends meet. Because when you're starting out, that's what you do. You just work hard every single day and try to find a way to bring it all together. My wife was 6 months pregnant with our oldest son, our first son. And she was a staff accountant, entry level, coming out of Florida State with a degree in accounting. And she started as a staff accountant, and on the weekends, she was working Kelly Services. She was answering phones on the weekend just to make ends meet. We worked hard those early years. We struggled those early years. So when we look at the affordability issues facing Floridians today, this is not lost on my wife and I. We know this because we've been through it. We understand what it means when you're trying to figure out how to balance between food and groceries and rent and health care. We know it because we've been there. Having kids, anybody that's got children, you know having a baby is not cheap. It's not cheap. And we figured out ways to do it. My wife and I, when we were in church, we were in the Dave Ramsey program. We were getting our paychecks in cash and stuffing envelopes. This was going to be for groceries. This was going to be for the kids' doctor's appointments. This was going to be for lunch and for food. And we did all that, but we worked hard every single year. You see, even though times can be tough, Florida is the great meritocracy in all of America. And so we knew that if we just kept at it and stayed focused, we would be able to figure it out and build that Florida dream. I remember after our oldest son was just born, my wife wanted to get her master's degree in accounting. And said, what does a family do? You stick together. So while she would work all day and study all night, I was mom and dad. I took care of our son. I made sure he got fed. I know how to change diapers, and I know the bedroom routine. Because that's what families do when you're trying to make ends meet. And quite frankly, that's what Floridians are doing right now, working hard to make ends meet. So as your next nominee for governor in this great state, these are not the words of somebody who's been listening to consultants and lobbyists and staffers. These are the words of a young man who came to this state 30 years ago, who built his life with his wife from the bottom, who knows how hard it is to get started and build the Florida dream for yourself. And we want to make sure that Florida dream is alive and well for everybody in our state. Wilton and I have been talking about what it means for the future of our state. It's the agriculture lands that are critical of Florida. We feed ourselves. When people go to Publix or Winn-Dixie, some of you guys, you go to Whole Foods, that's okay. You know, that's all right. That's all right. But when you go there, the food you're buying has come off the farms in Florida. When it's cold in this country, the food the Eastern Seaboard buys is from Florida. And so our agricultural lands are just as important as the future economy of our states. Everybody's struggling with insurance. And the legislature and Governor DeSantis, and by the way, Governor DeSantis has done a great job leading Florida. He's done a great job. And they started some of the work about making sure insurance was better in our state. They've started that work, but we have more to do. When you're paying those premiums, you want to make sure that that insurance company is with you through the storm. Not just to the beginning of the storm, you want them there with you through that storm. And we are going to make sure that they stay with you through that storm. We also want to reform the regulatory side of our insurance markets because we can push down costs in Florida 20% for Florida's families, and we want to be able to get that done for the people of Florida. When I talk about insurance, it's not a talking point. I chaired the Insurance and Banking Subcommittee when I was in the Florida House. My career was banking, insurance, and financial services for 17 years in the real world. Side note, I'm the only person running for governor that's actually worked in the real world. That's actually worked in the real world. And so when we talk about affordability, this is not something that's in a case study. This is what I know. I used to lend money as a community bank analyst. I worked in my community to local contractors, local builders, local mom and pops, trying to help them have the working capital they needed in their companies to keep things alive and keep things afloat. When we first started out, it was after 9/11. The job market was awful after 9/11. It was a terrible one. When we bought our first house, it was at the beginning of the financial collapse. We thought we got a good deal in early 2008, and we didn't know 2010 was coming. We thought we got a good deal, but we worked and we persevered. We want to make sure every young person can get a house of their own. But we do that by making sure that we decrease the government timelines in what it costs to build housing. Because contractors and developers don't eat the costs. You eat the costs. And government has to get out of the way and allow housing to be cheaper for the people of Florida. And we can get that done. When it comes to our economy, we're the 14th largest in the world, and we are on our way to number 10. We've always been an ag state and a retirement state and a tourism state, but today Florida is an everything state. Because of the craziness in New York City, we have business owners saying enough is enough, and they're coming to Florida. Wilton, you figured COVID-19 would have been enough for them, but they stayed. And then they saw Mom Donnie, and they said, that's it, I gotta go. They said, that's it. We are quickly becoming a major financial hub in the Western Hemisphere, here in Florida. A couple of hours down the road is Kennedy Space Center. It used to just be a museum. Now it's the most active spaceport in all of America. The most active. We are gonna do 1,000 launches a year out of Cape Canaveral. We are going to lead the Western Hemisphere when it comes to commercial space. And that's not just about Elon Musk launching rockets to the moon and to Mars. It's about the manufacturing jobs for the commercial space race right here in Florida. For our young kids who are trying to figure out if they can really build the Florida dream, I tell you yes. And that's built around an economy that is growing with high-paying jobs, not just for engineers and for scientists, but for machinists and contractors and welders. It's how we bring all of that into balance so people can have that same dream for themselves. You've heard me say this phrase nonstop, the Florida dream. That's because 18 months ago when I got into this race, I was at a fire pit at home with my wife and some friends, and we were kind of talking about what this race would look like. And when we talked about all these various policies, all the things we got to get done, it always came back to one ideal. and it's the dream that we've been able to build in our lives. It's the Florida dream because it encapsulates the American dream better than in any other state in America. We are the standard now. We are the #1 state in this country. We are the free state of Florida. And as your next governor, that will not change. So Republicans are going to decide tomorrow. By the way, who's voted? Who'd you vote for? Who's got to vote tomorrow? Well, you already know the homework assignment, don't you? Tomorrow you go to the polls and vote. I'm always asked, why do you keep saying every election is the most important election in our lifetime? Wilton and I have said it. Danny and I have said it. McClure, Danny Alvarez, Karen Gonzalez-Pittman, Michael Owen, we all say it. This is the most important election in your lifetimes. Well, the reason why it's said every election cycle is because when the framers of this nation built the greatest governing document man has ever known, very famously, Benjamin Franklin came out of that hot hall in the summer in Philadelphia, and he said, "It's a republic if you can keep it. If you can keep it." Well, that republic is only kept by you going out and voting. That's how we keep the republic alive and well. And in Florida, we have to do it one more time. You see, the Democrats have gone and found a nominee. It looks like their nominee is going to be a guy named David Jolly. Now, they didn't learn their lesson from 4 years ago. 4 years ago, they found a former Republican who became an independent and then all of a sudden was a Democrat. And that guy got beat pretty badly 4 years ago. And so I guess they're going to try it again. David Jolly is a former Republican. He became an independent. And all of a sudden, last year at 52 years old, he decided, oh, I'm a Democrat, just so I can run for governor. Ladies and gentlemen, David Jolly's a Trojan horse for the Democrat Socialists of America. This is a man who still believes it's okay for boys to play in girls' sports. Like just pure insanity. It's just him and the WNBA that think that. Nobody else. Nobody else. And so somebody who thinks that's okay shouldn't be the governor of a state. I see these two young kids, one boy, one girl. What's your ages? 13? David Jolly still thinks it's okay to change the gender of young kids. No. He thinks it's okay. That's just crazy. And as your next governor, we will always protect the puberty of our kids. David Jolly said that Dr. Fauci had unimpeachable judgment. This is what he said. When Ron DeSantis made the right decision and kept Florida open, David Jolly packed his bags and left Florida and went to Pennsylvania. So anybody who chooses Fauci over Florida does not deserve to lead Florida into the future. You see, once again, Florida, it's a time for choosing. The reason why we are the #1 state in America is because time after time over the last 30 years, we have chosen common sense over crazy. We chose conservatism over liberalism. We chose a quality way of life over the values of New York and Chicago. We chose law and order over defunding the police. And this November, we're going to choose common sense and republicanism again, because that is why people keep coming to Florida. So I'm very clear on this one. The primaries are tomorrow. We're going to get that business done. But then you and I, we are on a mission to keep Florida free and to keep Florida red. because the Democrats can keep the crazy in California. They can have the nonsense in Chicago, and they can keep Mamdani in New York. But they're never going to have power again in Florida. Are you with me, Plant City? Well, God bless you guys. God bless Florida. And listen, it's hot in August outside in Florida, but that's okay because we are going to remain the best state in all of America. God bless you, Plant City.